Hi, welcome to our presentation on Japanese culture cuisine. I'm Scythe.
And I'm Naomi. And for today's agenda, we will be talking about an array of things. The first thing that we'll be talking about will be the evolution of Japanese cooking techniques, the relation to cultural dishes, how these dishes were popularized, where and with whom they were consumed. Excuse me. How do these techniques relate to cultural dishes and modern eating habits in Japan? And then we'll be first talking about the evolution.
So, we wanted to talk about the evolution of kind of how a lot of Japan's famous dishes started. So, rice is a huge importance for Japanese people. It's commonly made into things like rice wine. It's just a good base for a lot of their dishes. It's so important, actually, that the Japanese words for breakfast, lunch, and dinner all contain the word gohan, which means rice in Japanese. Rice can be paired with things like natto or an egg yolk. It also can be used for many other dishes with a lot of other ingredients. Like omurice is a really important one with rice, egg, and ketchup. Noodles are also another big important base for a lot of dishes. And some of the cultural dishes we'll talk about is tonkatsu, ramen, onigiri, and sushi, and how they relate to certain Japanese cooking techniques. The first dish, tonkatsu, it also uses rice as kind of a base for the dish. It's coated in flour, egg, and then breadcrumbs. The technique Japanese people use creates a unique texture and allows the dish to bring out a lot of umami flavors. The next dish, sushi, which is probably one of the most famous dishes in Japan. Everyone knows it's very common. It also uses rice, but it kind of uses rice in a different way. It's known as sticky rice, which is used as an adhesive. It's laid on seaweed and is usually paired with fish, which is also another staple food in Japan. It's readily available and inexpensive.
Okay, and so for the next dishes we'll be talking about, ramen will be the first one. And ramen normally contains a meat based broth with akali noodles, and the noodles are normally made with wheat flour, and some toppings that are normally put on this dish would be a soft boiled egg, roasted pork, stewed bamboo shoots, and many other things. What kind of separates this dish from other Chinese style dishes would be the alkali water. And when making the noodles, it changes kind of the taste. Um, and the use of a different meat broth instead of using a fish or seaweed for the broth. The next dish that we're going to be talking about is onigiri, which is a stuffed rice ball that sometimes contains different things like fish, pickled plum, and many other things. This snack is also seen as a meal sometimes as well, and it can be sold in convenience stores. And there's also a study that has been made when it comes to handmade or homemade onigiris that kind of have a different taste to it depending on the person who is making them and the oils in their hands. And another part that kind of separates onigiri from other dishes is the inconsistent amount of rice that is used within each batch. And it's also seen as a comfort food as well. Okay. And where and with whom these dishes are normally enjoyed. Now, a lot of the time, these dishes are normally eaten at home. Sometimes are also on the street as well. There are different street food stands that you can get these foods from. Convenience stores is also another one of them, and school lunches and it's also eaten with friends and family. And these dishes were normally popularized in three different ways. In a larger, more transnational way, the US and across the globe, it's become a less rigid economic and cultural boundary, which has made it easier for these dishes to come to the US and be more accepted. In a smaller sector, there is a growing popularity of Asian Americans in the US, and this current demographic has started to become like a trending and growing population. And more on the individual level, a lot of Americans are starting to become more open to various different foreign cultures, specifically with food.
And so one of our last topics is kind of some modern Japanese eating habits. Um, Something that's very popular in Japan is konbini. It's pretty much a convenience store, but it's not like anything like in America. They have 7-Elevens, but they're extremely different. It's a really inexpensive way to get food still, but it's not like snacks or, small drinks or anything. Like they have complete full meals there. Japanese working culture has a lot of importance on how konbini also got really popular. Um, Japan's working hours can be up to like 12 to 17 hours a day. It's very strenuous, so it's kind of easier just for workers to go buy a konbini. Um, I mean, they have so many options that you can literally eat there for all three meals of the day. They have onigiri, like we mentioned. They have full bentos. Uh, they have a wide array of options at a konbini. And that's the end of our presentation, and these are all of our sources.